Welcome, listeners, to Embracing Power and Potential, your go-to podcast where we travel through the realms of personal growth, mindset mastery, and fear-conquering strategies to help achieve your greatest desires. I'm your host, Portia, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this transformative experience. If you're ready to unleash your authentic power and elevate your life, you're in the right place. Join me and our special guests as we embark on conversations that will broaden your horizons and enrich your journey. So, sit back and immerse yourself in these unmatched discussions. It's time to expand your mind and your life. Hello, my lovely people. Hope you all had a nice week. I didn't really do too much besides work because the weather has just been crazy and I am not here for the winter. So I've basically just been staying inside. So this week I want to get straight into the topic of this week's episode. And if you saw on my Instagram story, this is one that I did record already, but my mic was died like 10 minutes in and I didn't realize. So I'm re-recording this now. And it's probably one of the most interesting topics that I've had here on the podcast. It's not manifesting, it's about the matrix. And I worked with my good old friend ChatGPT with me on this. Well, not necessarily, but it started with me asking it a prompt. And the response I got, honestly, I'm shocked. I'm not, but I am. So I'll just get straight into it. The question that I asked ChatGPT was, if you were the devil and wanted to keep an entire nation sick, what would you do? So the overall answer that Chat had was, if I were the devil and wanted to keep an entire nation sick, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, here's how I would do it. Systematically and subtly. So I will go through the points quickly and then I will dive deeper into each one and break them down and unpack this because it's deep. And honestly, I wasn't expecting this answer because it's so real. So point number 1, Chat says they would poison the food supply. And by doing that, they mean filling the shelves with ultra-processed, addictive, and nutrient-depleted foods, make sugar and seed oils the foundation of diets, and make healthy food expensive or inaccessible. Literally the first point. Is that not already our reality? Would you agree that these things are already in place and happening? Filling the shelves with ultra-processed and addictive, nutrient-depleted foods. That is what our supermarket shelves are filled with. And it's cheaper for us to buy it. So, we're only doing what we see as normal and what we know. Making sugar and seed oils the foundation of diets. We see these high sugar ingredients in most things these days, unless it's like organic or fruits or which are top dollar. They are luxe. So of course people's diets are going to be filled with this sort of shit. So this is showing us that the people that are in charge of the world, more so the government, but I don't want to get cancelled, so I'm just going to say people that are higher up and pull the strings know this is happening, but they don't stop this because I believe that they want us to be like sheep, to follow suit. And they're keeping us stuck in this low vibration because this is making us unhealthy. Human beings are really, they're supposed to like live off the land, in a sense, eating natural foods. Instead, we're filling our bodies with shit. It disconnects us from our true nature. Anyway, I was going on a bit of a tangent then. So, point number two is destroying sleep and natural rhythms. By doing this, their dot points is promote hustle culture and glorify sleep deprivation, create constant screen exposure and blue light to disrupt circadian rhythms, and encourage late night scrolling, binging, and overworking. So, let's unpack this point. First of all, anyone out there that is in the social media game, or entrepreneurs, or even just anyone that is working and trying to get somewhere, this hustle culture is, it's like trending basically. And if you're not hustling and working all the time and, doing all the things and literally causing yourself burnout, you're basically deemed as lazy. I know, because that's how I feel when I watch these videos on my social media of the hustle culture and, people are on the go and doing all this, and it's actually unhealthy. And rest is so important. And now people are feeling guilty for wanting to rest. I know, because I'm speaking from experience, and this is not just from the outside influence from social media and like people like that. This is also from my conditioning of my beliefs of having to work hard. My nana would always say, you don't lay around during the day or lay on the couch during the day. That's lazy, So I am conditioned to, I do feel guilty sometimes when I rest. It's something that I have been working on a lot, so I am a lot better at it now. But that is a full tangent, guys, once again. This topic just opens up the thoughts of so many different things that are happening in the world, and we look at this as just normal, or it's just the way it is. But these systems are designed to keep people sick, stuck, and asleep. And by asleep, I mean unconscious of the world around them, disconnected to their true selves. With the food, this keeps people physically weak, with being sleep deprived, emotionally reactive, mentally distracted, and spiritually disconnected in a way. Well, not in a way, totally disconnected. So the second point for destroying sleep and natural rhythms is creating constant sleep exposure and blue light to disrupt circadian rhythms. Now have a think about that for a second. Our lives are filled with screen exposure. We can do everything now from our phones. We can make money from our phones, buy food from our phones, order things from our phones. We don't even have to go to the shops really anymore. We can read on our phones, which I just think is wild. I just could not. But each to their own, that's just my opinion. And blue light. It is known fact that the blue light does fuck with our sleep. It keeps us awake and it stops our brains from being able to wind down. That's why they say, turn your phone off an hour to 30 minutes before you go to sleep, so your brain actually has time to wind itself down. And when you see these games like Fortnite and screen games, they are addictive, and that blue light is addictive. Even gambling machines. Have you seen how now they are all like new and done up? Because they've got this new blue light in them, and that's even more addictive upon the actual gambling addiction itself. And now you can get it on your phone. And then there's encouraging late night scrolling, binging, and overworking. So first of all, scrolling. I'm sure we've all doom scrolled once in our life. I know that I'm guilty. But it's a time killer. And this is how we keep ourselves asleep and unconscious, because it's a time waster. Time just goes by and we don't even realize. You know how you can be looking at your phone? You're like, oh, I'll just have a quick scroll. And it's like literally 30 minutes later. You're like, where the fuck did that time just go? Binging on Netflix, even binge eating. This is creating little hits of dopamine and also just keeping us asleep and so disconnected from our true selves that we are just distracted and killing time instead of creating our lives with Netflix and screen time. And overworking is always encouraged. You see it everywhere, the more you work, the more you're successful that you'll be. Or, people are praised for overworking and for struggling. Praised. I know, because I used to say the same stuff, when I would work for hours on end or work my day job and then come home and work for hours on my laptop and literally falling asleep, trying to do everything. And then I would gloat about that like it's something to be proud of. But it's not. It's so unhealthy. And this is what's keeping us stuck and making us sick. But it's encouraged everywhere. And this is what people see as normal. And this is why we need to change this. The more people that become conscious understand this. And if you are on more of a spiritual journey and understand consciousness and unconsciousness and the matrix, you will understand this episode and the sort of reality that we are living in, and how easy it is to get trapped in that rat race of the matrix. But once you become aware of it and conscious, your whole perspective on things starts to shift. I know, because mine has. And all of this stuff that chat has actually said, all these points, I'm like, wow, like, it's so true. And it's sad. The world leaders are doing this to keep us small. Because if they don't, and if we do start living our own lives like people have, which I love and I'm here for it, who's going to be their employees? Who's going to be their sheep? Who's going to keep the world going round with buying all these shitty foods and keeping the economy and the circulation? And that's why this happens, because it does, everyone in the world makes it go round and fits into this narrative. Going on a few tangents this episode, but it's just something, I don't know, that I have been so interested in. And I'm definitely going to get someone actually as a guest on this episode, just so we can have a conversation. And for people that are maybe unsure still about this, just to get another perspective as well. But anyway, number 3, normalize sedentary lifestyles. So, make people work 8 hours a day, design cities for cars, not walking, and make movement seem like a chore or a punishment. And I don't know if you would agree, but in my opinion, the people are getting lazier. But you do see, working an 8-hour job every day is normal, especially office jobs where they're sitting down and not being able to move their bodies. It is so harmful and unhealthy for us. And that's why you see all of these standing desks now that literally move up and down so people can stand while they work. I've moved a lot of these in the city where I do removal work as well on the side, and we've moved in a lot of these offices, and I've noticed they all have these desks because people are becoming to realize how unhealthy and what a strain it is on our bodies when we don't move. And then designing cities for cars, not for walking. This just eliminates another factor of movement. You know, when it's easier to travel by car in different cities, you know, maybe they are designing them like this so we stop having to walk. Look at the olden days. There was no cars. They may have had horses, but if they didn't, they were walking for miles. And that was back in the olden days when they would be very more connected within themselves spiritually and like on a physical level, I believe. Not that I know for sure, obviously, but just even the way they used to connect with nature, and there was no medicines and shit around, which I'm going to actually get into in my next point, and making movement seem like a chore or punishment. Ever feel like you're meant for more, but something keeps holding you back? Maybe you've read the books, set the goals, but deep down, doubt still creeps in. It's not just about working harder, it's about rewriting your mindset for success. I help ambitious young people break past limiting beliefs, step into their power, and create the life they know they are meant for. If you're ready to stop playing small and start living big, book in your free discovery call with me today. My website will be linked in the show notes, or you can find me in my Instagram bio. Embracing Power and Potential Coaching Services. A vision to empower 10,000 young people to create a life they truly desire. As I said, I believe that people are getting lazier, even my generation, and it's sad to watch. It actually frustrates me, if I'm being completely honest. Even just like the work ethic in my generation is horrendous. And then the fourth point is pushing pills, not healing. So the dot points within this is medicalize everything, suppress root cause healing and natural remedies. So basically diagnosing people and medicating them straight away. That's what we do now. People have a mental health problem, medication. People are turning into like zombies with different injections and monthly injections that they get. It's making them asleep, basically. And you know, any problem now is basically fixed with a pill, with medication, instead of natural healing and finding the root cause of the problem. So even with things like when you have anxiety, instead of being medicated straight away, learn to work with it and overcome it naturally instead of just having pills and like it's not actually, the problem isn't actually going away. It's like just putting a band-aid over it, in my opinion. And this episode, I get it, it's deep and it may be triggering for a lot of people, and I totally get it. But this is just some hard truths about what really is happening in the world and how we're just letting, like, we don't realize the harm that this is doing to society on a wide worldview level, because this happens everywhere and people aren't fixing their problems. They're not doing the real healing. They're just medicating themselves and covering it up, bottling that shit up, and it's just so unhealthy and making people dependent on lifelong prescriptions instead of empowering them. that was the last point that chat said. So basically, that is what I was saying before. Instead of having pills for anxiety, learn breath work. When stressful situations come up, deep breathing can help in situations instead of popping a pill. And I can talk like this because I have taken things like that, pills for anxiety. And yeah, maybe it did work, but it didn't really because I was still fucked up and I had a lot of healing that I needed to do. And I'm still healing, but I'm just glad that I do see the bigger picture now and I empathize with people who are still stuck in the matrix and stuck in these systems where they're not actually being helped at all. So I urge you to just look into natural healing remedies for different things, even like energy healing, and that's things like Reiki, sound bowls healing sessions. There is so many different natural healing ways that have been coming out more lately in my world, actually, since I've opened up and believed that there is another way instead of just like medication, because really that's just keeping us asleep, just zombieing through life, disconnected completely from your inner self. And it's just really sad that this is what the higher leaders want for the world, because the more that people come conscious and understand what's going on, the less that these people are going to get away with it. And that's when they say the new world is coming, or the new earth, the light is going to outshine this darkness. So hopefully, and I guess we can only see what happens in the future. I'm going on some crazy tangents here. So the spiritual people that are listening, you will get it. And if not, maybe this podcast isn't for you. No, I'm joking, but maybe start opening yourself up to different ways of looking at life and what is really happening in front of our eyes. Because all of these points, I'm sure that anyone listening would agree with them all, because it is true. And I'm going to get into the other 4 points in the next episode. I'm going to make it a part 2 just as I'm looking at the time. So to sum up this episode, this is about the lies that we have been sold. And these are just little subtle ways to keep people stuck. And in the next, I'm going to, so if you have been feeling like something is just like off with the world, you're not crazy. Maybe you're just waking up. And I'm going to be showing you throughout the next episode as well, the things, what you've been sensing all along to be true. So I'm going to love you and leave you there. I hope this is just a little thought-provoking episode. And if you have any questions, I'd love to have a conversation about this further. Even if you wanted to jump on the pod, message me. And we are going to be diving deep into the next 4 topics in the next episode. Love you guys and hope you have the best week. Remember to like, comment, and share this to any family and friends that you'd think would be interested. And I'll see you in the next. Bye.